Medical school has thousands of students, but 99% of them don't know how to adopt the right mindset that the absolute best doctors have. Now, if you want to join the ranks of the top 1% of doctors, here's the simple and painful truth on how to succeed in medicine according to Muhammad Ali. Now, Muhammad Ali, also known as the greatest fighter of all time, was the most iconic boxer of our time. Now, his fighting skills were immeasurable. We all know about his prowess, his strength, and his feats in the boxing ring. But what most people don't know is that he was an incredible master of motivation. He had an incredible amount of mental toughness. And he had an incredible amount of the ability to watch his opponents and study his opponents. But one of his most famous quotes is, "I don't count my sit-ups. I only start counting when it starts hurting. When I feel pain, that's when I start counting, because that's when it really counts." Now, this quote for me holds valuable lessons about perseverance, about pushing through the pain, and about the power of a strong mindset. You see, as humans, we really have two primal needs: to pursue pleasure and to avoid pain. That's it. Now, we have to embrace pain as a sign of our growth and our continued growth. That's so incredibly important for us as physicians, because when we push ourselves beyond our limits, we're able to grow mentally, emotionally, physically, but we're also able to grow professionally, which is really what I want for you. But it comes at a cost, right? Growth comes at a cost, and that cost is pain. Now, when we feel pain, we know that we are testing ourselves, and that's when it really counts. Now, many people avoid pain at all costs. Many of your colleagues may shy away from that pain. I know I had in medical school, there were many people just kind of wanted to coast by because they knew they made it to medical school. That's not you, and I know that's not you. As Ali saw this as an opportunity to challenge himself and to become better. Now, in that same way, we can use pain as a signal that we are on the right track and that we are growing. Instead of shying away from that pain, we should embrace it and use it as a motivation to push harder and to achieve even more. Now, there's a second thing that's also important. That's that of mental toughness. Now, Muhammad Ali's quote really shows us the importance of mental toughness. Counting sit-ups is a physical task. Rounding on patients at 4:30 in the morning is a physical task. Staying later than most of your colleagues is a physical task. But the real challenge here lies in the mental fortitude required to keep going when it starts to hurt. Because there's going to be days when you're rounding, there's going to be another patient and another patient and another patient, and it gets hard. And I get it. Build that muscle. It is going to develop, and then your journey to success is going to skyrocket. See, when we face adversity, it's easy to give up and quit. Many others around you do. But mental toughness allows us to push through the pain and overcome obstacles. We learn mental toughness by pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone. Set challenging goals. I call these stretch goals. Set yourself that stretch goal, which is just out of your reach. And by constantly doing this week after week, month after month, you're going to start reaching that stretch goal, and then the next goal will be a little farther along, and then the next one will be a little farther along. That's how you become successful. And speaking about becoming successful, the third and the most powerful thing that you can do is that of discipline. Ali's quote really emphasizes the importance of discipline. It's that one thing to start counting our sit-ups when it starts to hurt, but it's really a completely other ball of wax, as they say, to keep going, to keep with that discipline, to keep with that consistency. Because discipline is what enables us to push through that pain and to stay committed to our goals, even when things get tough. And for those of us in medicine, it gets tough quite a bit, right? As an emergency physician, the other day I had 2 cardiac arrests running at the same time. That's hard. That's hard. But again, I've built that muscle over time, and I've had that discipline to just keep going. Discipline for me is really just a handful of things. It's setting goals, establishing routines, and having positive habits. That's really what it is. One of the greatest things that I have found for discipline specifically is we have to hold ourselves accountable to stay motivated even when things get hard, and they get hard all the time. One thing that I really embraced early on in my career is to have a weekly review, a weekend review as I call it. And that's, I sit down with my full focus planner, which is actually right here. I keep it by my desk all the time. And every week I go through what's worked for me and really what didn't work for me. And I kind of just pivot. And these are small micro adjustments. But again, it's these micro adjustments over time compounds. And that's what I want for you too. So you may ask yourself, well, how do we do this? How do I apply Ali's philosophy to our own lives, especially those of us in medicine? Well, the first, I think the most important thing, if you haven't gathered this by now, is to embrace the discomfort. Instead of shying away from the pain, embrace it fully. That is how you're going to separate yourself from everybody else around you. When we challenge ourselves and yet seek to experience and go after those stretch goals, develop that mental toughness. Again, it's not going to happen overnight. This is going to take months and years to do, but over time, it's going to compound and it's going to feel like you're cheating almost, because you've separated yourself so much from the average that it just becomes second nature to you. And the third thing, friend, is to develop that discipline, develop the consistency, develop that discipline. For me, I have 4 goals that I do every single day. I call them my core 4 things that I have to do every single day. And they're little micro goals. Understand that they're not huge goals, but they're micro goals that gets me closer to my weekly goal. And as I said, we do a week in review every single week. It's these little things, that discipline that I hold myself to make myself the top 1%, which I hope for you too as well. Embrace the discomfort, cultivate mental toughness, and develop that discipline, my friends. We can overcome any obstacle and achieve what we've set out to do. So either next time you start feeling the pain of your quote unquote sit-ups, remember Ali's words and keep counting, because that is when it really counts. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.